Testing. All right, right. All right. Hazard liquid integrity management enforcement guidelines, section 195, 450, and 452. We are on page 50. All right. Hazard liquid integrity management, part 195, March 18, 2013. 190 code section 195, 452 F1, section title pipe integrity management, high consequence areas. Existing code language. What are the elements? Integrity management program. Integrity management program to give the initial framework. An operator must continually change with the program to reflect the operating experience. Conclusion drawn with the result of the integrity assignment, other maintenance and surveillance, evaluation consequences, and of a failure of the high consequence area. An operator must include the minimum each of the following elements with the integrity management program. Process identify which pipelines could affect the high consequence area. Origin of the code 195 7065 Federal Register 75378 December 1st 2000. Last Amendment interpretation, summaries, advisory bulletin notice, and summaries other material source for the hydrology analysis. Consequent HVL release. Those both by Michael Baker Jr. December API 1160 Management System Integrity Management Hazard Liquid Pipelines latest edition. PHMSA Liquid Integrity Management Supplemental Guide Segment Identification Part 1 of Appendix C1. Identify high consequence area factors for considering the pipeline segment. The potential impacts of high consequence area. PHMSA Liquid Integrity Management Frequency asks questions. Many of the operators predefined segment on their pipeline length of the pipeline between two pump stations consider the segment with the PHMSA pipeline refers to the segment with the impact the high consequence area, and the rule with the context of the tag determine the segment used. How will an operator determine the pipeline can affect the high consequence area? What are the acceptable methodology criteria for determining whether the segment could affect the high consequence area? For example, the spill volume should be considered the worst case discharge, most likely discharge, most likely worst case discharge can arbitrarily say if the distance applied with the most locations specific to dispersion analysis be performed as an air dispersion module. Expect the spill trajectory is adequate. 3.5 do operators need to perform detailed consequence analysis to determine the specific impact for the population undefined segment area. 3.6 can identification of the segment of the can affect the high consequence area redefined as December 31st 2000. Deadline. How will the high consequence area identify with the communicated to the industry? 3.8 what are the pipeline what are PHMS pipeline says safety exemptions for the operators to determine the newly changed high consequence area. 310 on the frequency with the schedule with the chain with the high consequence area maps with the national pipeline mapping system may be made with the PHMS. What will PHMSA pipeline safety and after provide with the public notice the changes. 311 how will the PHMSA pipeline safety change with the high consequence area information over time? What to do that of the field with the chain with the will operator be able to clearly distinguish the new information from the old and national pipeline mapping system. If the 314 if the operator decides to locate of their information, specifically ecological drinking water, unified undefined section, segment area of the duty for the risk analysis, determine the potential pipeline release impact. How can this information be obtained with the undefined segment area within the national pipeline mapping system that contains the buffer zone, the actual drinking water of the ecological resource that is possible with the operating and operator's evaluation, determine whether the spill could impact the high consequence area might show the release reaching the undefined segment area that depict with the national pipeline mapping system with the when in reality show the release might actually reach the sensitive area. 316 what are the mechanisms available to the question with the chain with the high consequence area undefined segment area identification once the identification has been posted on the national pipeline mapping system? What 316 most non-pipe elements of the pipeline system of the high consequence area of the station facility have been identified. 319 what type of the consideration pipeline has material safety administration pipeline safety considered responsible to determine whether the pipeline can affect waterways and open water. 320 what are the assumptions of the PHMSA pipeline safety environment acceptable for the analysis of spill product transport way of topographical features. 321 what is important for the operators to know with the specific character of the high consequence area of the pipeline. In fact, with the 322 national pipeline mapping systems does not contain the map of the ecological undefined segment area in Pennsylvania. Operators responsible to identify the unsegmented area within Pennsylvania. 323 what consideration operation own personal work or the camp of the consider the high consequence area. 325 can operate exclude the pipeline when considering under the integrity management rule the basis of it, and in fact it could have the high consequence area in small. 325 may I assume that the leak of the propane pipe can affect the drinking water the water undefined segment area. 815 integrity management program portion law of the 195 452 F apply for all portion pipeline segment that can impact the high consequence area include the pump stations, the terminals, and their equipment. Must the operator do comply with the rules of these facilities. General guidance information 195 452 F itself the required program element of integrity management program separate from paragraph 195 452 F the drive of each of the required element. 195 452 F1 require for the operator to have the process identify the portion of the pipeline that can affect the high consequence area. 2 the result of the operator segment identification process to determine what portion of the pipeline segment are subject to the remaining requirements for the operator integrity management program. 195.452F1 should generally be cited for the omission of deficiency of the operator methodology identified in the pipeline segment that can affect with a high consequent error. 4. The failure to identify the pipeline segment that can affect with a high consequent error should generally be cited for the probable violation. 195.452B2 or 195.452F1 for existing pipeline for the deadline to identify the segment that could affect with a high consequent error of December 31st, 2001, Category 1 pipe, November 18, 2002, Category 2 pipe, except for the newly constructed converted pipe with the segment that could affect with a high consequent error they have identified on this pipeline. However, the operator is still responsible for monitoring condition along with their line with the per 195.452D3 identified with the new segment that can impact with a high consequent error due to the change population density among the pipeline with the identification of the new undefined segment area. The operator must have the same process required with the 195.452 to determine the pipeline segment that could impact newly identified high consequent area. In general, the operator low stress pipeline fails to identify the segment that could affect the undefined area, segment area 195.12 will be cited CGAN's 195.12. So look at the final orders referencing 195.451. I don't read final orders, and because I don't care about the companies. And alright, example of the probable violation and adequate procedure. The general failure to develop an adequate process of the identifying pipeline assessment that could affect the high consequent area. These include the both segment line pump at the S12 of the pipeline facility. 2. Failure to identify they locate the high consequent area that could affect the pipeline, include the segment that do not intersect with the still affect with the high consequent area. Failure to consider all the high consequent area to define 195.450 identify the segment that could impact the high consequent area. 4. Failure to adequately identify, maintain, update location information pipeline segment that could affect with the high consequent area. 5. The failure to use national pipeline mapping to the other appropriate information source that can identify the high consequent area. 6. Failure to adequately consider a high pipeline segment that located outside of the geographical boundary of the high consequent area that could impact with the high consequent area. The use of the analytical method of the software segment identification of the algorithm does not correctly identify the boundaries of the segment that they were within conflict and confined could affect with the high consequent area. Alright, revision of the segment identification analysis following the following the receipt integrity assessment result in order to avoid remediation anomalies. Note the identification of pipelines that could affect the high consequent area that require the detail of the analysis include calculation of the volume released and the transport over the land or by water through the air with a high consequent over the item listed below. The example of the deficiency and accuracy of the part of these analysis. Release the volume determination. 9. Failure to adequately consider the potential release location, potential volume release for the methodology identifying segment that could affect the high consequent area. 10. Failure to adequately justify the release of the volume assumption, but that the release of the historical release volume. Failure to adequately analyze facility with the potential impact high consequent includes spill volume release of facility as well as facility contribution drain down volume and tank volume. 12. Failure to adequately consider the possible leak of the side that could result in a large relief of the assumed release volume location. For example, over the Hazardous detection threshold that leak with a long time of the period of the time. 13. Failure to technically justify assumption of the release of the volume calculations, including whole side of the pressure equipment and operate with the response time drain down volume. Overland transport. Failure to adequately conduct topographically overland spread analysis. 15. Adequately consider the overland transport liquid and liquid pools fire with the HV lines. And 16. Use the non-conservative input of the assumption of overland transport analysis. Water transport. 17. Failure to adequately include the analysis of the water transport to the liquid to determine the extent of the commodity spread and effect of the high consequent area. 18. Failure to adequately consider the treatment of the flow characteristics looking through potential flow velocity. 19. Use the invalid non-conservative assumption with the water transport analysis. 20. Failure to adequately consider the potential spill occurring in the waterway crossing segment identification. Air dispersion analysis. Failure to perform document adequate air dispersion analysis analyzing hazard vapors resulting from at least. 22. Non-conservative input assumption with the air dispersion analysis or your buffer zone. 23. Failure to identify the segment that could affect the high consequent area of the buffer zone. The intersection analysis of the method of the use of the incorrect deficient algorithm buffer zone analysis. Failure to identify the segment specifically unique endpoints of the buffer analysis. 26. Adequate include the facility that could affect the high consequent area of the buffer analysis. 27. Technical justify the buffer side of identify the segment of the facility that could affect the high consequent area. Remember the circumstances from the example listed in the section may be the inadequate plan or perceived as not probable violations of the enforcement tool that address the issue that would be the notice amendment is not a probable violation warning letter. Section 3. Enforcement procedures provide the guidance of selection appropriate enforcement action. For example, the evidence integrity management plan or program applicable portion show for the emission of the deficiency process for the identifying pipeline so that could affect the high consequent area. 2. For the integrity management framework. 3. The record to demonstrate the deficiency adequacy of the segment identification process result. 4. Operative method depending on the segment that could affect the high consequent area. 5. The documentation, technical assumption, justification criteria used in the segment identification process. 6. Documentation, conservation operative with the contract personnel with identify the inconsistent deficiency and adequacy regarding the identification of the pipeline segment that could affect the high consequent area. 7. The documentation describing the segment identification, all the algorithm methodology, 8 software documentation output with UV segment identification, 9 engineering analysis evaluated transport commodities release from the pipeline, including the overland transport, water transport, air dispersion. Other special notations there are none. Enforcing guidelines, hazard liquid integrity management, part 195, revision day March 18th, 2013, code section 195.452 F2, section title pipeline integrity management, high consequent area, existing code F, what the elements integrity management program, integrity management program, give the initial framework, the operator must continually change look at the operating experience, conclusion, draw the result, integrity assessment, and the other maintenance surveillance, the evaluation, consequence of the high consequent area, operator must include the minimum each of the following elements for integrity management program. 2, a baseline assessment, planning of the meeting requirements of paragraph C of the section, origin code 15765, federal register 75378, December 1st, 2000, last amendment, interpretation, summaries of the advisory bulletin alert, no summaries there are none. Other reference material and source for the AP 1160 of the management integrity has the liquid pipeline, PHMSA integrity management supplemental guide baseline assessment plan, PHMSA had liquid integrity management frequency of the asked questions of the rule of the unit apply with the operator with the marketing facility, the operator with the do not own operating pipeline with the other rather receive it delivered had liquid in third-party pipelines. 4.2 what must of the baseline assessment plan, what must be in the baseline assessment plan. 6.2 of the different requirements of the inspection pipeline with carrying high volatile liquids. 8.5 with what is the framework. 8.6 with integrity management program. 8.15 the integrity management portion, program portion of the rule 195.452 F apply with all of the portion system that can impact with the high consequence include the pump station terminal with the other equipment must operate with the do to comply with the rules of facility. Guidance information 195.452 F2 and B3 of the same requirement of 195.452 B3 save of the plan to carry of the baseline assessment and integrity management plan requirement 195.452 F2 save of the required element of the integrity management plugin in the base assessment plan. Both of the code section reference 195.452C specific requirement-based assessment plans, and if the operator failed to develop the base assessment plan, could side with either 195.452F and 195.452B. Separately, develop the base assessment if it had deficiency activity appropriate with 194.452. Should generally be decided because of the deadline of the completing the baseline assessment. The category 1, category 2 by have the fast requirement likely applicability. New construction converted selected final orders reference 195.452 and 1. Not reading. The final orders example the probable violation adequate perceived that one failure to develop the base assessment plan. An example of the evidence integrity management 1 integrity management plan or program the applicable portions over the omission of the baseline assessment plan. 2 integrity management framework. 3 the records demonstrate the absence of the base assessment plan. 4 the documentation conversation with the operator with the contract personnel to verify the base assessment was not operated. Other special notations. Hazard liquid integrity management plan. Hazard liquid integrity management 195 March 18, 2013. Code section 195.452 F3 section pipe integrity management high consequence area existing code. F what are the elements of integrity management plan? Integrity management programs due to the initial work with the operator must continually change with the program to reflect the operating experience, conclusion, and draw the result of integrity assessment with the meaning for the surveillance of the data, evaluation, consequence of the high consequence area of the operator must include the minimum each of the following elements of the integrity management program. 3 and also integrate with available information for the integrity of the entire pipeline consequent failure. See paragraph G for the section code. Origin code 195.76 Federal Register 75378 December 1st, 2000. Last amendment interpretation summaries and advisory bulletin alert and notice are not there are none. Other reference material services the AP 1160 managing system and integrity with the header liquid management pipelines 195 appendix C2 risk of the establishing frequency assessment 195 C3 safety risk and indicator take leak history volume line with the size age of the lines and pipe and transport PHMS liquid integrity management supplement and guide risk analysis. PHMSA had liquid integrity management frequency answer question. Alright, 3.5 the integrity management program portion with the 195.452 F apply with all the portion pipelines with the but the highest consequent include the pump station terminals of the equipment with the operator do not comply with the rules of the facility. 3.14 operator the desired location of the information specifically ecological drinking water and undefined segment of air due to the risk analysis of the determination potential of the pipeline release and the impact with the hazardous information being maintained. 3.21 important operator to know about the specific character of the high quantity of the pipeline's effective. 4.7 with the operator consider the prior prioritizing pipe segment of the assessment reassessment. 6.2 they have the different requirement of the inspection pipeline with over the carrying highly volatile liquids. 8.6 for the integrity management program. 11 what kind of the information must be integrated with the performing periodic evaluation reassessment interval determinations. 8.14 will the operator be expected to consider the external conditions of the earthquake, fault lines, mining subsidences. The integrity management program will be classified for the high consequence area requires special repair provisions. 8.15 integrity management program portion of the rule 195.452 F to apply with all portion pipelines that could affect the high consequence area that include the pump station terminals of the equipment. an operator do they comply with the rules of these facility. 816, the rule of the review of the integrity assessment result of the information analysis be performed with a person qualified to evaluate, release information as covered with the task of the operator qualification requirements, if not and how the operator should spell it, demonstrate they have themselves out of the requirements. 818, can operator include the potential business consequences, curtailments, plans, shutdowns of the risk of determination. 819, to take the risk of the process of the PHMSA pipeline safety administration, pipe safety preferred to the quantitative or qualitative. 898, what are the factors may be considered for the risk analysis conduct for the determination of the additional preventive and mitigative actions needed. 99, how long after complete with the baseline assessment of the first segment does the operator have to conduct the risk analysis to determine the additional preventive mitigation action for this need with the need for the EFRDs and leak detection system enhancement. Operator to determine for the additional action for the warranted how long does the implement them. 910, however, the operator should set the control risk of the third parties over the which they have no direct control. Guns information operator will require the performance analysis integrity available the information and of the pipeline consequence of the failure of the analysis typically refers to the risk analysis and information on else 159 452G specify the minimum information must consider the risk analysis. 2 general the operator does not have the analysis the integrity of the information of the pipeline integrity consequence of failure within 195 452 F3 should be cited. However, the operator risk analysis does not consider the information 195 452G and 195 452G, then 195 452G should be decided. Know that 195 452G require the must analyze above the information for the integrity of the entire pipeline of the operative with failure. Consider the available information relevant to the pipeline. Integrity consequent failure. Risk of 195 452 should be generally cited. 195 452G should be decided by the deficiency and adequacy risk analysis itself. For example, the PHMSA determined the operator use of the risk model with the reliance upon the industry actuating factors did not customize the model of the own pipeline system and adequacy of the deficiency should be cited by the 195 452G. 195 452 require the density analysis the additional preventive of the mitigative measure for the all know 195 452 design example explicitly refer to the 195 452 F3 and G or G state of the operative the must evaluate with the liquid pipeline relief of the occurring that have the risk of for the high consequence of the essential for the same language even the 195 452 F3. Practical most outliers have one risk analysis method applied with the real risk related requirements of the rule but they include the preventive and mitigative measure requirements of the continual evaluation record. Requirements. As noted in above the rule requirements operative they have analysis integrated they available the information integrity of the entire pipeline with not just segment of the high consequence everything include applying with the data of the inspection test surveillance patrol required in part 195 include with the corrosion control monitoring cathodic protection surveys and then your post selection final order reference to 195 452 F3 I'm not reading because they're companies example of probable violation adequate view of the A1 failed to develop the analysis integrate all the available information from the integrity of the entire pipeline consequent of the failure the analysis typically refer to the risk analysis information analysis. Example, the evidence integrity management plan and program applicable portion show the information risk analysis was developed. 2, the integrity management framework, and 3, document conversation of the operator contractor personnel that identify the absence of the information risk analysis. Other special notations are the Hazardous liquid integrity management 195 March 18, 2013 code section 195 452 F3 section titled pipe integrity management high consequent area existing code language. F, what are the elements of integrity management program and integrity management program because the initial framework that operator must continue with the chain with the program to reflect the operating experience conclusion job of the result of the integrity assessment by the other main surveillance and data with the evaluation consequent of the failure high consequent area operator must include the minimum each of the following elements with the integrity management program. 4, the criteria remedial action to address the integrity issue raised by the assessment method and information analysis. See paragraph H of the section origin code 19576 title 65 Federal Register 75378 December 1st 2000 last amendment 19574 467, the Federal Register, 1615, January 14, 2000. Interpretations of a summary for the advisory bulletin are alert, no summaries of none. Other reference material, ASME B31 for the 2006 pipeline transportation system, liquid hydrocarbons, carbon regulated liquid October 20th, 2006. American Petroleum Institute, 1160 managing system and integrity had liquid pipelines, latest edition, PHMSA liquid integrity management, supplemental guidelines, integrity assessment. Result of the review of the remedial action. PHMSA held liquid integrity management frequently asked question. 413 person for the meeting of the deadlines completing with the baseline assessment the day of the assessment consider the day of the tool run and complete with the winning with the preliminary data received with the evaluation line inspection result of the complete 617 perform this in assessment even the MF tool that they're using running a deformation tool 7-1 to do the normally repair schedule and requirement of 195 452H apply to all the previous internal inspection run performed by the operator adjusted integrity assessment of the 195 452 baseline assessment subsequent integrity assessment and 72 how soon must be the result of the pipeline integrity assessment be evaluated. 7.3. 7.4. What is the intermediate repair condition? 7.5. What is the 60-day condition? 7.6. What is the 180-day condition? Whether the other abnormality for the operator required to address. 7.10. What is the minimum deform age for the constitutive dent? 7.14. If the segment can affect with the high cone, it's going to have a relatively short, only 2 miles with the length, yet the operator internally swift along portion of the round of the segment, 50 miles and from the pig launch to receive the do the repair with the 195 452 H for the ply with the segment of the high cone, so with the entire distance for the pig is run. 718. Have the burst pressure defined with immediate repair condition on 452 HB H4 1B and the operative pressure for the line defined with the 180 day repair condition 452 H4 3D with the defer. 719. Show the tool count and tolerance can be consider the determine and detect the anomaly meet the repair criteria. 720 of the 20% of the reduction pressure for the adequate in terms of the pressure for the intermediate repair condition. 721. So must anomaly identified during the pig run but not consider the baseline of the reassessment and with the rule of the repair within accordance with the rules for repair with the criteria. 723 must the pipeline maximum operating pressure have been previously reduced to preclude the need of the pressure testing in accordance with the 195 302 B1 be repaired with the retest for the restore of the original higher maximum operating pressure. Say 86 Weather Integrity Management Program guidance information 195 452 F4 with the show the operator to develop the criteria for the remedial action for the integrity issue with the recovery of the integrated management element of the 195 452 H for the allow the most about specifically about what could be included in these criteria to generally the operator to the establish criteria for the final integrity issue 194 452 F4 should be decided by the operator to establish the remedial action criteria that do not need the condition of the 452 H for 195 452 H and the appropriate for the subparagraph 195 452 H should be decided. So can final order reference for the 195 452 F4 not reading the final orders. Example the probable violation in adequacy of the one failure to include criteria for the remedial action for the integrity issue of the integrated management program. Example the evidence of the integrated management plan program and applicable portion show the criteria of remedial action with not developed to the integrated management framework. 3. The documentation compensation and operative with the contract personnel will identify the absent remedial action criteria and 4. Operative pipeline repair procedures. Other special notations there are none. Alright, enforcement guidelines of hazard liquid integrity management part 195 of the revision day March 18, 2013, code section 195 452 F5 of the section title of the pipeline integrity management high consequent area existing code language for the Water Elements integrity management program begin with the initial frame of the operative must continually change the program to reflect the operating experience conclusion of the result of the integrity assessment other main with the surveillance the data evaluation consequence of the area of the high consequent area of the operative must include the minimum each of the following elements with the written integrity management program process of the assessment evaluation plan team of the pipeline integrity sheet paragraph J of the section origin code 19570 South 65 Federal Register 75378 December 1st 2000 last amendment and interpretation summary of the advisory bulletin alert and notes and summaries non-reference other material the material sort of the API 1160 of the national map managing system integrity with the head liquid in my pipeline within delays addition PHMSA liquid integrity management supplemental guide a continual process of evaluation assessment PHMSA had liquid integrity management frequently asked question 4 7 of the must of the operator of the prior isolation pipe segment the assessment and reassessment 511 how much of the periodic integrity assessment must be performed in pipeline segment that can affect the hazard consequent to the area with the pipeline applicability if the requirement of the operator establish the inspection interval not to exceed 5 years of more mean than 5 calendar years in pipeline for the 2003 reassessment 2008 or actual 5 years the most operative conduct the reassessment perform and have completed all the base assessments 5-4 with the reassessment interval to be covered beyond 5 years 5-6 can the operator review the risk assessment to define longer the intervals between the integrity assessment and 5-8 with the gas transmission integrity management rule that include the provision waiver the reassessment interval if necessary to maintain the product supply with the PHMSA pipeline safety considering willing to examine the same similar to the provision that had a liquid operator with how would it affect the such consideration be handled 5-9 once the baseline assessment is complete will the operator be able to use the conventional evaluation process and have the primary threats and schedule the assessment accordingly even if the means for the conducting metal loss deformation inspection different intervals 5-10 what is the difference between the periodic evaluation required the 195 452 J2 the profit determination reassessment interval required 195 452 J3 however it does not exceed the 68 months of the assessment with an interval of provision of the the operator continual assessment interval requirement the 195 452 J differs with the maximum 5-year interval assessment A6 with the integrity management program the late 11th what kind of information must be integrated with the performance periodic evaluation reassessment interval determinations 815 the integrity management program portion of the 195 452 F the comply with all the portion pipeline with the high consequent area include with the pump station terminals of the equipment must be the operator to comply with the rule of the facility guidance information of the 195 452 F 5 require the operator to develop the process continually of the evaluating pipeline integrity 155 452 J the describe the continual evaluation process in general the operator does have the continual evaluation profit of 195.42 F5 should be set for the operator should be stretched if the process failed to comply with the woman's best for the 195.42 J. The operator should be set for the appropriate figure of the 195.42 J. Final or is referencing that required. Example of the probable violation act with either one failure to continually profit assessment evaluation operative with integrity management program. Example of the evidence one integrity management plan program that the applicable portion show the absence of the process of the continual assessment evaluation. 2 integrity management plan framework. 3 documentation competency of the operator contract person with verify the process of the continual assessment evaluation was developed. Other specializations not noted. Enforcement guidelines of the head liquid integrity management plan were 195 revision day March 18th, 2013. Code section 195.452 F6 of the section titled Public Integrity Management High Consequence Area. What are the eligibility integrity management program? The management of the program at the beginning of the initial frame with the operating must continually change with the program that reflect the operating experience. Conclusion of the result of the integrity assessment and the maintenance of the surveillance and the data evaluation consequence with the high consequence area. The operator must include the minimum each of the following elements of the written integrity management program. 6. Identification of the brand and the mention of the project with a high consequence area and superior of the 5. The section origin code 19570 65 Federal Register 75378 December 1st, 2000. Last amendment interpretations from the advisory bulletin alert and notes and summaries of the reference material and sources. APL 1160 Managing System Integrity Head Liquid and latest edition. PHMSA Liquid Integrity Management Supplement Guidelines Preventive Integrity Measures. And PHMSA has Liquid Integrity Management frequently asked questions of the operating need to perform detail of the consequence analysis to determine specifically the impact of the population or the unified segment area of the 321. Important to the operator to know that the specific character of the high consequence area of the pipeline can affect what the 62 with the different requirement of the inspection pipeline carry the high volatile liquids. AFC Integrity Management Program portion of the 195.452 F applied with the all portion of the pipeline with the impact of the high consequence area and include with the pump station terminal with the other equipment what must the operator do to comply with the rules of the facility. 818 can operate potential business consequence of the curtailment plan shut down and risk determinations. 819 with the type of the risk analysis profit with the PHMSA pipeline safety prefer quantity of the quality. 9-7 will the prevent and mitigate the action must be taken to react with the high consequence area. 9-8 with what if factors give the risk analysis to determine additional preventive and mitigate and actions are needed. 9-9 how long after leaving the baseline 7 segment does the operator have to the risk analysis to determine with additional preventive and mitigate the action that is needed, including the need of the AFRD's leak detection system enhancement. If the operator determines the additional action for the warranted knowledge of the impact, then 9-10 how the operator is the control risk of the third party over the which of the head and the record control. 9-13 can the evaluation additional preventive the mitigate the measures to be excluded with the proportion of the high consequence area affecting lines determined with the sufficient low risk of the by the operative of the risk analysis process. Guidance information 195.452 F6 with the quality of the operative identify the preventive mitigate the measure for the protect with the high consequence area the preventive mitigate measure of the assessment and bear provision of the rule with the preventive mitigate the measures to help with ensure the protection of the threats are the knowledge of the assessment with the repair of the provision 195.452 I with the more specific and what should be considered to identify the additional measure 2. General if the operator have no process of identifying with the measure 195.452 F6 should be cited. If the operator have the process of identifying with the preventive mitigative measures but approach with the deficiencies and the approach of the paragraph 195.452 I should be cited. So look at the final order reference 195.452 F. Example of probable violation adequate the procedure failure to develop adequate preference identified with the paragraph mitigative measure protect high consequence area include the measure line pipe as well as the measure for the other pipeline of the pump station breakout tanks etc. Example the evidence of integrity management plan program applicable portion show the absence of the rest of the preventive mitigative measures to integrity management framework documentation to the conversation of the operator with the contract personnel justified with the verify the identified preventive mitigative measure was not developed other special notations not noted. Alright, 72 and enforcement guidelines title liquid integrity management 195 revision date March 18, 2013 code section 195.42 F7 in the section titled pipeline integrity management high consequence area with existing code for F of the what element of the integrity management program begin with the initial frame with the operator continually change with the program that reflect the operating experience collusion to draw result of the integrity assessment of the other maintenance surveillance and the data evaluation consequent with the failure high consequent area the operator must include the minimum each of the following elements of their integrity management program. So for the method of the program and effectiveness paragraph gave with the section origin code 19570 6570 753780 December 1st 2000 last amendment with the interpretation and summary of the advisory bulletin alert with a notice summary date 12 of the date December 5th, 2012 with the advisory bulletin use the meaningful metric with the integrity management program evaluation. PHMSA issuing the advisory bulletin reminded the operative gas and hydro liquid pipeline the responsibility of the federal integrity management program regulation perform and value integrity management program and use the meaningful metrics. Other material sources APL 1160 managing system integrity with the head of liquid pipelines PHMSA liquid integrity management supplemental guidelines and program evaluation part 1 identifies component C5 with the measure with the method of performance, PHMSA liquid integrity management program, frequency of the question, frequently asked questions. 5 safety in the operative risk assessment to define the longer the intervals between the integrity assessment. 813 with the operative management of the effectiveness and integrity management program. 815 with the integrity management program portion of the 195-452 efforts applied with the all portion pipeline system. They can impact with the hazard consequent, they including the pump station terminal with other equipment, with the operative to comply with the rule facility. Contact information. The information paragraph of the 195-452 efforts identify the program elements must include the operative with integrity management 195-452 F7 of the United States. The operative be required to identify the method of management program, the effectiveness of the program, or preference 195-452 K of the more specifically require the program evaluation elements. This is generally operative fail to evaluate integrated management program effectiveness. The operator should be set with 195-452 F7 if the operator to develop the program and evaluate the effectiveness of the integrated management program, the mission, deficiency, the problematic features. These should be generally set with the 195-452K. 195-452K does not provide additional guidance for the however, the refer to the appendix C for the discover the needs of the valve of the performance measure for the provide the guidance for the following selecting with the performance measure for the most portion of the appendix C for the adapted taken directly with the API 1160 of the accuracy, the efficiency operator selection, even the performance measure for this should be generally set within 195-452K. Same with the code of the section mode directly linked to the performance measure topics. Appendix C should be not be identified with its primary citation enforcement letters because it is considered to be the guide with the code with the formal requirement. Selection final reference not reading because of their company example probable violation adequate procedure. The integrated management does not include the process of the mention for the program effectiveness. Examples of the evidence of the operator integrated management program, plan program, applicable portion of the show for the mention the deficiency of the program evaluation process into the external and external integrated management program audit reports. 3. Document account for the safety of the operator with the contractor personal the inconsistent deficiency regarding the program evaluation process and for operator record with the other special limitations not noted. And page 75 had a liquid integrity management program. We're going to cut the tape at every 25 pages.